I've been asked by 3 or 4 ladies, I've had a few emails and messages, if I could reload this video for my Magic of Oz mini album, as it's restricted in certain countries because of the music I used. So I thought I'd do a talk through on what I did and how I made it, and reload that back up. So here it is. It's bound again in the black card that I seem to have a complete passion for. I've kept it pretty simple, but one thing I did do when the paper came out is I wasn't that impressed with it to start with, I have to say, because Wizard of Oz was never something that I went to see. I don't think I've ever read the book completely. I'm not sure if I've even seen the film all the way through. But the more I thought about the paper, and I do love graphic 45 paper, the more I thought I could do something really creative with it. So I decided that I would order the original Wizard of Oz book, and here it is. I found it on eBay, very, very cheap, and it's the only time I've ever cut a book up, and I felt really bad about doing it. But what I thought I'd do is use the book and the story all the way through, and then use the papers as I went, to try and depict the story from start to finish. So for every page I've cut out the title page of each chapter in the book and then built the page up around it. So the cover I've just fussy cut, I love that word, we just call it cutting out here in England, but fussy cut the characters out, and then fussy cut out the poppies, and you put some pop dots behind them to raise them up to give them some dimension, and then I use glossy accents on the title and raise that up with pop dots as well, just to make the crows and the title stand out. I kept it quite simple. Again, I'm a bit obsessed with just using the one paper range, and I seem to have done that since making my curtain call album, because I really like the look of the paper and I don't want to distract from that with other things. So this one is made only with the graphic 45 Magic of Oz paper, and inside the binding, or the binder is made in exactly the same way as I made the Haunted binder, and there's a tutorial on my channel for that. And then as I go through, I've used various dies, so I've got them here to show you. So this one I made a pocket out of the On the Edge die, which is called Ornate. I don't know if you can see that, it's difficult to show you. Got an extended pocket. I put some tabs on the side to lift it up, and then just made a couple of tags to go inside, and I used the Tim Holtz fragments on there, and some sparkly ribbon just to give them some dimension. And that starts off with the Wicked Witch and her legs being trapped under the house, and I've cut little extracts out from the book as I go as well. The Dorothy page, I used the cabinet card die and a magnet, and just made a little frame and a door with Dorothy inside it. Used one of the embellishments that came with the collection and raised that up, and again scrumpled pages of the book up and then dyed them with the vintage photo die, and that is a Sizzix font, but I'm not sure which one it is. The inspiration for this book, and it was the first of many of my albums that I made with normal size photo mats for 6x4 photos in, came from Kathy Orter. I love Kathy's work, I think she's great fun and I do watch her a lot. So in here somewhere is inspiration from Kathy, so thanks for that, Kathy. And then the photo mats are pretty plain, and I've just used some of the Glimmer Mist masks just to put some dimension on them, and again used vintage photo, the Tim Holtz vintage photo die. It was a pocket, just an oversized pocket, again with some tabs at the sides just to lift it up, and then I think I put 3 photo mats in here. Again, they were glimmer misted. That one. This page was quite simple. It's all about the Munchkins, and I've cut the title out from the chapter about the Munchkins and put it on some foam tape. I've got some black foam tape. I think it's 2mm, quite high, and cut the titles to the width of the foam tape and then stuck them on, and that raised them up. And then they are, the little Munchkins. And then that just opens with a couple of photo mags in. Tabs on here are the tiny tabs and tags cutouts from the Tim Holtz die. And again, I've just glimmer misted a brick wall. I can't remember who that came from actually, and cut another piece out of the book. And then in all the photo mats there's either words or little pictures inside. Again, this is from the Tiny Tabs and Tags die. It's just glimmer misted. Love this Scarecrow page. I didn't know what to do with it because the papers are quite dark, so I cut a page out of the book that's got the Scarecrow story on, and then just fussy cut out the Scarecrow character. Kept it quite simple, and then just put one tag in here with the Scarecrow on, and one tag in the end. Not tag, photo mat. Again, it's quite plain. I used some Tim Holtz ball chain here and cut out that sign from the paper and raised it up on the foam tape. That was the Tim Holtz Heart and Crown die, and kept that quite simple. I like that picture. And then used the hearts and the Tin Man paper for this page. And the buttons are from the Sewing Room die, Tim Holtz Alteration Sewing Room die. Got a bit obsessed with those throughout the book. There's some little pockets here, which I haven't put anything in, apart from the top one, and again that's got the title from the chapter, The Rescue of the Tin Woodman, on there. And then various bits from the book cut out, and again in the photo mats I've just put words that are relevant to the page, so that's got Scarecrow in it. And this one has got a picture of Dorothy down there, but Tin Man in the top. Love this page with the lion. I really enjoyed cutting him out. Again, scrumpled a page up that's got details about the lion on, or the story. Used some poppies and raised them up with pop dots, and then made a tag to fit behind the lion, and it says The Cowardly Lion, and then just a picture of the lion on the back. I'm not used to doing this upside down, it should go in. And then on here I just used some of the embellishments. They're the chipboard embellishments that came with the collection. And there's the Tin Man, the lion, the Scarecrow and Dorothy. And then I just put a heart at the top of the photo mat. And a picture of the Scarecrow at the bottom, one of the cut-out cards from the paper collection. The edging here was made from the Martha Stewart edging punch. I'm not sure which one this is actually, but it's the one that cuts out the dots and scallops the edges. And then over the page, used a magnet in here just to hold it shut, and this was the monkeys and the ghosts. So I've just used, that's an embellishment from the collection, and a few tags in there, and again pages from the book, And I used pages from the book to make the buttons as well. And then just made a belly band and a couple of tags behind the crows and the ghost. And a photo mat in here. And the next page was the Wicked Witch of the West, so I used a fragment with the compass underneath, north, south, east and west on, and again cut the title of the chapter out from the book, raise that up on the foam tape, put a magnet under the tab here, and then cut the monkeys out. I made a couple of tags as a pocket there. And pulls out that way. A couple of photo mats. And then I just cut strips of paper out, just edge the pockets where the photo mats go, and again cut extracts from the book. So that tag says, or that photo mat says Wicked, and this one says, oh, balloon. And there's a witch on there and a witch over there. I got completely obsessed when making this book, and it was a Friday night and I really got into it. The children were out and I carried on making it and went to bed at 6 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't stop. It's the only time I've ever gone to bed after the sun's come up, I think in the last 20 years. I was shattered the next day. This was the Ruby Slippers page. Kept it quite simple again. I used one of the adverts from the paper and tag that fits in there. One of the embellishments with the ruby slippers on. I was going to glitter those, and I've only just bought some red glitter, so I might do that. And then a couple of photo mats. I've used the brick wall mask lots through this album. I liked it and it reminded me of the yellow brick road. And the tabs say Munchkin and Kansas in those photo mats. This was the poppy page, the poisonous poppies. Again, I've used a magnet in here. I like that sound. And then just made a simple tag and a pocket and just cut some extracts from the book. And then used the chapter page on the bottom of that pocket. Let's pull it out. So just a simple photo mat and then a frame, a tag with the poppies on. I'm all over the place tonight. And what's in here? I haven't looked at this for ages, so I can't remember what I made. Just a tag, again with the sewing room button on the top, and a photo mat with the poppies in the top. I love this page. I think these two pages might be my favourite, I'm not sure. So I made a belly band here and then just made a it's like ticket shape little book for notes. It is quite simple. I don't think I did any embellishments on that. And that just slips under. This page I did lots of fussy cutting. I wanted to give some dimension to the balloon floating through the clouds. So I cut all of this out of a 12 by 12 sheet, although for the most of the book I used 8 by 8 papers. But my favourites I ordered in 12 by 12 as well. So this was cut from a 12 by 12 sheet. I've used extract from the book at the bottom. I've got the emeralds here, title, a couple of compasses, and then I cut the clouds out and raised them up on pop dots. And that lifts up, and then there was a tag inside. And that's all about the balloon being launched. So that fits in there. And then right at the back is a Dorothy page, or two is for Dorothy, and it says Home Again, and it's got the extract from the book